This is an echo of 17 years old boy who presented with a shortness of breath and palpitation. And on echo, this is a parasternal long axis view, and you can see there is a thick septum and posterior wall. So this is a plaques, and you can see the thick septum and the posterior wall. So let's interrogate other views. So we are considering the HCM, and we are looking for the HCM diagnosis of HCM in this patient. So let's see any other pressure overload conditions are there or not. So at present, this color interrogation shows no evidence of any MR. This is a modified plaques view. We can see the RVOT, tricuspid valve, and this is a modified plaques showing pulmonary artery. This parasternal short axis, you can see the very thick septum at the level of mitral valve. As you can see, the short axis, parasternal short axis showing the tricuspid aorta. There is no calcific valve, so rules out the valvular AS. Let's see another interrogation. This is a color interrogation. No evidence of any AR. There is a mild physiological pulmonary regurgitation. So let's come to the 4-chamber view, and you can see the hypertrophy of septum and the posterior wall. And you can see the septum is of catenoid variety, that is reverse curvature variety, and that is the most common, and that is associated with early onset of HCM in the patient, most common genetic defect, most common arrhythmia, and this is the most common type of septum, catenoid septum, that is reverse curvature septum. Most common alveolar obstruction can occurs in this catenoid variety of septum. So there is no evidence of any MR which can occur. So after putting the cursor in the alveolar region, you can see the gradient of 33 mm of Hg, you can see, and this is a typical dagger shape gradient of alveolar gradient. So this is a obstructive type of HCM, which is common in the catenoid variety. So other variants of HCMs are like apical variant, neutral septal variant, then sigmoid septal variant, then posterior wall variant. So in apical variant, you will get the ace of spade sign, that is the LV cavity looks like a ace of spade cards. So there's something called lobster claw sign, that is not positive in this patient. In CW spectrum, we have seen that is a dagger shape. So lobster claw sign is like there is a mid systolic notch in the spectrum that looks like a lobster claw. So that is most commonly seen in the obstructive type of variety. So what is a catenoid septal variety? So this is the most common septal variety of HCM, and the characteristic of this catenoid septal variety is it will give the convexity in the cavity. This looks like here, and it is the most common associated with the genetic variation, most common associated with the arrhythmia, early onset in the patient, just like in our patient. So this is a resting gradient is 33. So more than 30 peak gradient is obstructive. I can say the obstructive, and at exercise more than 50. So we are fulfilling the criteria. So this is the M mode of plaques view, and you can see in systole the AML is nearly touching to the IVS. So there are three. This is a systolic anterior motion of AML, There are 3 grades. This is nearly grade 2. So Gilbert has given the 3 grades of SAM. The grade 1 is the distance between the IVS and mitral wall is more than 10 mm. Grade 2 is less than 10 mm, and grade 3 is mitral wall touching to the IVS, more than 30% of systole. So here it is not touching, but less than 10. So it is a grade 2 SAM. So the ejection fraction is 70%, and you can see the IVS and the posterior wall LV posterior wall ratio comes around 1.49. The IVS is 27 and the posterior wall is 18. So more than 1.3 ratio is diagnostic of SCM in non-hypertensive patient. So this is a GLS of this patient after getting 4-chamber, 2-chamber and 3-chamber. So we got the GLS of this patient is around -6, and this is a bullseye. You can see the blue is bad and red is good. So this spectrum is typical of dagger shaped spectrum, and it cannot be a aortic spectrum because aortic spectrum is like parabola, and this is a typical dagger shaped spectrum. So this is a case of obstructive SCM. 17 years old boy presented with the obstructive SCM.